and I hope that you can hear me on Telegram as well. I am trading from a different location because I'm on holiday and I forgot my headphones, so I had to get some new headphones. And I got some Lightspeed, Logitech Lightspeed, and they're a little different, but hopefully I'm coming through right. I won't do the espresso this morning because I haven't got the time to set it up. But real quick, it would mean a buy around about 84 and a sell around 24. So those are the parameters, 84 and 24. Just remember that. 84 and 24. I can try and get the... Okay, I've just been told that the sound is crap. You sound really like Al Brooks now. Okay, that's not good. The audio is not that good. It's like you're in a tunnel, there's an echo. Oh Jesus, I'm so sorry. I thought I bought some, they were not cheap. Is it really bad? Andy, karaoke Andy, you're listening in. Is it really bad? Let me just double check a few settings, okay? Sounding like you're trading from a toilet. I am. I'm not. Oh, okay. Let's. I've done such an effort. If you knew what I went through yesterday to get headsets. Oh, do you know what? It hasn't picked up. 1 second. Is it better now? Is it better now? Okay, so OBS had changed. Okay. Okay, so let me check this. You don't want to experience this, and I'm really sorry. I had thought I'd done everything. Apparently I've changed from bathroom to living room, so that now it's perfect where you left the toilet. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't trade from the toilet. I promise you. Anyway, so here I am. And you should be able to you sound good now. Okay. So let's see how this goes. As I said, I am trading from my dare I say, summer house, or my alternative location. and I cannot seem to get the divergent to work. Just bear with me 1 second. So the espresso would have triggered around here. Hmm. Um, First bar negative. I'm sorry. I have some I have some issues with yeah. God, I should have been on that. I should have been long here, but I can't get my tools to work. Oh, now I can get it to work. So why not on the DAX? I'll restart the DAX chart. Right, well, I'm going to do my best. So if you are new to watching, this setup here is a first bar negative. It means that the first 5-minute bar is negative. And my research indicates that you want to be a buyer below the low of a first bar negative. So why didn't I take it? Because I was trying to get my divergent to work. I'm just trying to sort out a couple of things. Just bear with me. So I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I want to show you the DAX cash chart. So here's a daily chart of the DAX. We are pretty close to all-time highs. Show you a weekly chart, if that changes the perspective a bit. Shouldn't, but there we go. And yesterday was a particularly strong day with a gap up of 2%. Sorry, not a gap up of 2%, but a 2% day. Excess in 2%. I would love to be a buyer of the FTSE on a retracement. So I might swap over to a 1-minute chart and make a look and make a note of the retracement. So we got a retracement of 13 points, a retracement of about 17 points. So perhaps if we get down here to about 30, down around this level here, 33. In the DAX index, it's a little more tricky to decide where to take your measurements from. And so I'll show you. So here's the DAX over the last, shall we say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days. And while I don't believe that I'm a, don't interpret this as me doing Fibonacci ratios, because I'm not. But I do keep an eye on some of the obvious retracements, like almost like a sine curve retracement, the 50%, and it didn't hit it there, as you can see. But if I sort of measure from swings, it's a reasonable proxy. But when it comes to this and this movement here, I am perhaps struggling a little bit to say, do I measure from here? In which case, it's a hell of a retracement in the DAX, and I don't think that'll happen today. Or do I go from here to here? You can see how that retracement there was about halfway down. So I don't know whether to measure from here, where it's the last swing yesterday, or do I measure from the gap? We're just going to have to feel our way, I suppose. Or do I buy the overnight range? So the FTSE is coming down to an area where I want to be a buyer, so please stand by. I think I'd like to put that in as an order. Oh, order placement disabled, fine. My God, this piece of software is getting so beautiful. So I just want to measure the retracement that we just had. It was 12 points. So we have retracements oscillating around the 12 to 16 points. And that's where I would like to be a buyer. And then I'm looking in the DAX. Granted, this is a 30-minute chart, but it sort of captures the overnight range. And if I was going to make a projection, maybe I should do it from here. So yesterday's open. Oh, give me a fucking. Did somebody want to give me a crash course in? Sorry, I have to laugh at myself because otherwise it would seem as if I take myself so seriously, which I'm really not. Thank you. So it looks like we already had a 50% retracement down here. Do you see that there? Overnight we had a 50% retracement. That's what I should have been mindful of, in which case I'd like to be a buyer near the overnight range low. We shall proceed with caution today. I'm sure I have this. I've learned this at least. There we go. Not entirely where I wanted to be, but yay, there we go. We got there. of course, then you know this already, but when the retracements get smaller, it's just indicative of a stronger trend. I was keen to be a buyer around 33, and it went to 36. And we tested not quite the overnight range low, but there were buyers that stepped in at 290. So if you're curious what that 25322 is about, well, that's simply the espresso line short. Happy to go through that with you. This is the final candle before the open. So if I draw a line here through the highs and lows, then you see that we have a high of 64. That would be indicative of a long around. I don't use 20 points. I use 17, 18. But I just sometimes find that it's so easy to say 64 plus 20, 84. Okay, that's up here. Yeah. And then a low of 45, well, that's indicative of a short at 25. So really my line should be around there. Lots of lines, but nothing to show for it yet. While we're waiting, a fan of my work contacted me and told me that he made 1,000 points in the Nikkei. And I forgot to check if that was a school run, so I just want to check that. Not sure how he made 1,000 points, but good for you. There's still a very successful school run, long at 64.9, with the high at 65.34, but then you went into a long sideways race. So I'm not sure how if you took school run this morning in Asia, yeah, you would have a 15 minutes of misery. Then you could probably move your stop loss to break even, because you would be 972, 180, you would be 200 points in profit. I'll be trading the Nikkei and the Hang Seng when I go to Macau later in June, late June, for the Albrooks event. Might get myself a new laptop before that. So we're coming up to a school run, setting up. Ladies and gentlemen, just full disclosure, I'm absolutely not going to take a school run short uh, at a time where we are sat at an all-time high. I'm just not. So what I would rather do is I would rather be a buyer here. So if school run triggers, I will most certainly trade it as an anti. FTSE is maybe giving me an opportunity. Stand by. I'm buying the DAX here, getting a fill at, come on, get rid of this. Where are my fills? So I'm long here. Let me just change that P&L to points. I'm posting this in Telegram. My fill is 25, 2, 8, just call it 290. 25, 189 for now. Stand by in the FTSE, by the way. By the way. I'm buying the FTSE here. Okay, I have to change that as well. P&L point. Um, 105, 105, 32. 105.07. So very much trying to trade in the direction of the prevailing trend. But right now, as you can see, okay, I can't see, there they go, losing. Let's get rid of the Asian markets and go back to Europe. Deeper retracement on the way. Let me get rid of these lines. Could perhaps be a bit more confusing than they're helping. We have had a retest of the 50% retracement area to the tick, I would say. I'm 30 points offside right now. And so FTSE is back to break even. So this is obviously a bit of a critical point to me because you could argue that this area here, 36, is the break point. And what I want to see, obviously, is that the market is able to recover the breakpoint area. That's important to me because I don't want to begin to add aggressively to a trade if so this is the area. So now I need to simply just observe if our sellers coming in here, are we able to close above? And then is there follow through? This bar still has another minute to go. Yeah. So while I am of the aggressive type, I suppose, when I have been
in a drawdown situation, as in I bought at 36 and it went. I bought it at 32 and it went about 15 points against me. It went down to 17. I see that as a sign of strength, but I'm equally aware the times where I have burnt myself has been times when I said, okay, we're now winning on the position, now let's add aggressively. And it closed right at 36. The close on this bar here is 36.7. So for all intents and purposes, at the break point. And so I need to see it trade above 38 and deliver follow through. I'll remove this line so you can sort of just gauge it on the chart. So that's incredibly positive development in the FTSE for me. I'm not sure how I would say that it's significant that we went down to where the bodies start in the FTSE and buyer stepped in. But I still feel it perhaps is a little early to add. I want to add, trust me. But, so let's look at the DAX. The DAX index was about 4 points from my entry on this recovery. I wonder if the FTSE can rally with the DAX being less inclined. Here's the daily chart for the FTSE and the weekly chart. DAX is flirting with positive territory. That's nice. If we look at this on a 15-minute chart, if I get rid of, it would mean that a school run short is now in jeopardy. I did a tremendous amount of research in the school run on the question, what am I doing when I'm wrong? How do I deal with when am I wrong? And one of the absolute most essential criteria were that the price action began to trade above. Say I had been short and it was a losing trade. I wanted to find out, well, what was the critical juncture? And the answer was the moment the price action began to trade above the high of a negative bar. That was without a doubt the one criteria that I could point to say, yeah, that's where you no longer want to be short. Of course, there were examples, as you would expect, where the market would then begin to trade low again afterwards. But it was the minority. So what could we learn from the price action in the FTSE? Well, what I would take away from this is that we wanted to test the area where price action started this morning. I would say my objective so far has been met. So I will take my profit here, closing FTSE. I will close the DAX as well, not for any other reason than that I want to just figure out what has gone wrong from a technical point of view. Sorry, from a not charts, not technical, but from my IT point of view. So I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to call it a morning. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience with me this morning. It seems as if I don't have a great track record when I go on holiday. And I am incredibly grateful for Andy, Karaoke Andy, who I know many of you have grown very fond of. And of course, I've known Andy since I met him at the the price action event back in 2022. And I'm incredibly grateful that he's able to stand in and assist me whenever I need some time away. You probably do, or maybe you don't know about this, but I also have children, and sometimes those children want their father's attention. Can you imagine? Children want their father's attention. I say. Okay, as exits go in the DAX, not the shabbiest exit in the world, huh? I got out at 304, and now we're 30 points lower. Okay. So let's just take a question or two here. There is that. It seems to me as if there's somebody out there on the internet who is creating an AI profile of me. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Someone says here, has your school run strategy been reliable the last 2 years? Yes, it has. Sajib is saying it's nice recovery. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Tom, Tom, on another issue, do we short the DAX? 9 a.m. Okay, so maybe there's some newcomers, and for those of you who know me and who's been with me for a while, then this is going to be an old joke. I was trading live at the World of Trading event in Frankfurt. This is now, it's a few years ago, as in it's probably 10 years ago, if not more. And I was doing what I was doing. I remember the other guys were doing what they're doing. I don't recall it was a particularly interesting trading session. Now short the DAX, long the DAX. And afterwards, there was a gentleman who came up to me, and he didn't speak English very well, but he was definitely German. And he was like, he was wearing camouflage gear, and he was in his 60s for sure. He was an elderly gentleman. And he said to me, yeah, Mr. Hugard, yeah, you traded very well. You traded very well. I like it. But you made one mistake. I said, oh, what mistake did I make? Yeah, you shorted the DAX. Don't short the DAX. And every time I want to giggle, I just think about that story. Don't short the DAX. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure to be here with you this morning. Do you want to bet that where the DAX just stopped is a 50% retracement? I'll bloody bet you anything. But let's find out. Oh, there we go. That's the high. See if I can get this to work. Voila. Whoa, what did I say? I said I bet you anything. And I hadn't actually gone and tested this before, okay? 50% retracement. Yes. All right. Anyway, thank you for being here. Generally, it's always a pleasure. You take care of yourself, and I will see you for the US session, and hopefully I can get Divergent to work. And I hope that Andy, as per plan, would be able to step in for the for Wednesday and Thursday, because I have a feeling that my IT issue are not going to solve themselves. Until then, I will see you for the US session. Bye bye. Okay, so how do I turn off OBS? Let's see if I can get this to work.